Welcome to A&A Products. I want to take you into the world of glass carving. This is different from glass etching. Glass etching is just a surface product. It can be done with cream or with a sandblast. Glass carving actually cuts into the glass. In fact, you will have multi-stage glass carving where you'll have different levels for different parts of your pattern. Now let me assure you I'm new at this, and therefore what you see and what I can do here I have learned in a very short time, and you can learn also. So we're going to go into how to make the patterns, how to sandblast, and look at some of the results. Hope you enjoy it. The basic things we need for carving glass are a piece of glass, some actual resist material which we're going to put on the glass to make our pattern with, and then a sandblaster. The resist material I've chosen to use is called Anchor Mill 18, which means it's 18 thousandths thick. It's a rubbery material. It has a backing which can be pulled off, and when we do our pattern on the resist, we'll put it on the glass and put it on there, take the backing off, and it'll stick on, and then we'll take it to the sandblaster and blast it. When we put the pattern on here, we can cut it out by hand, and I'll show you part of that. We can also cut it out with a machine if we're fortunate enough to have a machine. Over here you see the K&K Zing. This machine will cut out patterns on very many different types of materials. So we're going to take a look at how this works. To start off with, I have a pen in there, and so it will also draw patterns, and we'll do a demonstration of that. We need to take out this little plastic sheet that's in here and put the pattern on the sheet. So let me set that up, and then we'll get started. As you can see, I've mounted the material on the plastic pattern here, and I've used tape to help hold it down, although the back of the plastic is a little sticky. And we insert it into the machine, close the levers on the machine, one on both sides, and the machine is ready to go. Now before we get started, let's talk a little bit about how we're going to do this. The machine Zing comes with its own software called Make the Cut, and I have on the screen here an example of that software, and also you can see down in the bottom corner here an example we're going to do a Santa Claus. Now if you look at that pattern, we're going to make several different cuts. And in order to do that, we want to sandblast the first cuts that we do, the deepest, then the second level, the next deepest, and the third level shallower, and through that process. So we need to identify which of those we're going to cut. I've already done that. I'm not going to go into the process of doing that. You can find other videos on the web that'll tell you how to do that. But I have made another sheet with only those first parts I'm going to cut on it. And let me just take the over here and click on it. Alright, there's the parts that I'm going to actually cut out. The reason I've done this is that the backing on this particular Anchor Mill 18 is very, very sticky. And if you were to just cut everything, when you pulled the backing off, it would just pull everything off that you'd cut. So I don't mind it pulling off these particular items here, because these are the items that I want to blast first. So if it pulls them off first, then that's just fine. So I'm going to set it up first to draw the actual pattern here of Santa, because I'm going to cut some of this by hand, but I'm going to cut those items that I showed you before with the machine. So let me set it up and then we'll get started. Okay, we're ready to go. First thing we need to do is turn on the Zing itself, and then we're going to go to the software. We have the Santa in there that we're going to draw with the pen, and so we will look at the screen, and up here we see where it says Cut Project Width. I am going to click on that, trying to do this with two hands there. And when I do that, I'm going to cut it with a Zing. And now I have down below me the Zing machine where I can make settings. So I have set the speed to 9. I have set the force to 50. And to change any of these, you simply hold down your button and move your mouse up or down, which changes the numbers. So again, I'm going to set this to 50, just using a pen. I am only going to cut it one time. I must get connected, since I wasn't connected. Now it says that I'm connected, and now it's ready to cut. So I will click the cut project, and then we'll watch the machine do its thing. Now if this had been a knife in there instead of the pen, it would be cutting. But I just want to do the drawing now. I'm only going to cut out the parts that I'll do the first sandblast with. And it looks like that is pretty well done. So we'll stop here and take it out of the system. Okay, I've changed the pen and replaced it with the knife. This is the knife that will actually cut the resist material rather than the pen. And now we're going to go back to the software. We've actually put the sand on there that we want to cut out, with just those parts is all we want to cut out. And again, we need to go to the system and pick up the section, see if I can get focused here. Pick up the section on cut the project with, just right here. Cut it with a Zing. And we hear the fan come on. We have set now, the speed is still the same. The speed is set at 9. Let me see if I can get this focused a little better. Okay, the speed is set at 9. I've increased the force to 60 for the cutting, and I've make it 2 cuts, multi-cuts, rather than 1 cut, just because it's a little thicker material. It is connected, so we're ready to cut the project. And I'll click on cut the project and we'll watch it cut. Notice that it will go around it twice, because I've set it to cut 2 times. That's to make sure I get the right depth. I'm not going to teach you how to use the Zing here. That you can do, and you can find things online, and if you decide you want to buy a Zing, you'll get lots of instruction with it. But I wanted to show you that this is one way of cutting it automatically, and then you can also simply put it on the glass and cut it with a razor blade. You don't have to have this cutting machine to do it, although it makes it very nice. It's finished cutting it, and now we'll go through taking it out and putting it onto the glass.